Hello, thanks for tuning in to another Atari 8-bit gameplay video. This is Centipede by Atari. It's a conversion of the Atari arcade game Centipede, which was one of my favorite games in the arcade. In the arcade version, you had a trackball with which to control your player, your ship. I'm not sure what else to call it. Whatever sits in a field of mushrooms and fires lasers up at centipedes and spiders and fleas and whatever else there is in the field of mushrooms. So anyway, let's have a go. I don't know if there's any options here. It doesn't really look like it. I do like trying different home versions of Centipede. So anyway, let's have a go here. Oh, select for 2 players, start to play. Alright, don't need 2 players. Alright, pretty standard Atari game graphics mode here. Fairly chunky pixels, but not ridiculous. About average for the time, I would say. I think most of the Atari 8-bit games were done in this graphics mode, really. At least the ones that wanted to use color. And here we go. So you've got, seems like the fleas jumped in pretty quick. I guess I am on the second centipede. As you can see, the centipede is a multi-segmented creature that marches side to side down the field. On the field of play, those are mushrooms. Those things dropping straight down, I think, are called fleas. They generate mushrooms behind them. Whenever the centipede hits, or a chunk of the centipede hits a mushroom on the field, it drops down a row and gets closer and closer, ever closer, bringing you doom, doom. I believe you get 3 players in the arcade. I think the first extra player was at 16,000 points. 6,000 I'm at now. Well, we might get there. We'll see how it goes. I was never great at the game in the arcade, but I did very much enjoy it. That is, I don't know what that's called, but what he does, the guy that runs, those little guys that run across the screen like that, they create poison mushrooms, and if a centipede segment or centipede hits one of those poison mushrooms, it charges straight down the screen. So you can see that happening over there there we go. You can stop that charge by shooting I think the lead segment of the centipede. And as I'm about to find out, or about to demonstrate, once the centipedes, oh my gosh, stop it. Once the centipedes reach the bottom of the screen, they will march back and forth. They'll go up and down in the bottom. I don't know how many rows here. I think in there 5 or 6 rows. This is definitely not as hard as the arcade, and there didn't seem to be any difficulty settings. If I'm not mistaken, there was an Atari 5200 version of the game. Now the 5200 was actually very similar to the Atari 800 in terms of the hardware, or at least in terms of the graphical capabilities of the machine. I know that, the other thing that happens when the centipedes obviously get to the bottom is that I think when they get to the very bottom, they will actually spawn another segment. So if you get a handful of the centipede segments that make it to the bottom, they will very rapidly spawn a whole bunch of additional centipede segments, so you don't really want to let that happen if you can avoid it. I think I got an extra player just there. I was too busy talking to listen to the sound effects. There's a little triumphant sound effect that plays when you get an extra player, and pretty sure I just got one, since I've died at least once in this game. And here we are. Oh, I'm gonna be in tough here. When you lose a player, all of the partially shot mushrooms regenerate, and the poison ones turn back into normal ones, and you get some number of points, 5 I think it is, for each one of those things that happens. So it is possible to go over the extra man threshold when you, after you've lost a life, which was something that was always a pleasant surprise in the arcade. If you manage to reach that 16,000 mark with your, after you've lost the player, you'll get another player, which, like I said, was always a pleasant surprise. The point value of the spiders, you can barely tell they're spiders in this version of the game. Ooh, the centipedes are moving pretty quick. Point value of the spiders depends on basically on how far away you are from them when you shoot them. If you succeed in shooting them, explosion effect's not bad there. And I thought I was done. All right, one more. Spinal Tap. Who was it? Nigel. It was Nigel in Spinal Tap that said that. Ours is one louder, not one more. One louder. So never mind. That didn't make any sense. That's okay. I'm perfectly comfortable with not always making sense. Oh, 27 and change. All right. Well, not bad. Not bad for a home version. I think I would have been pretty happy with that in 1982 or any time in the 80s when I had my Atari 8-bit. I believe I sold it in 1987, or maybe it was I think it was 86. So I really only owned it for about a little over 3 years, I think, but it was great fun. I also used it for writing assignments in high school, so I may talk more about that sometime, and I may not, because these are gameplay videos. Who knows, maybe I'll do some reminiscing videos at some point. I think that's about all for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.